Welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. People have already put in their comments in about their favourite person within the game, and some of them we haven't even met yet. All through class the question remains on my mind, so I decided to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. Okay, after all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. Hello, how are we doing? She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied when trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so the top is perfect and evenly flat. What's with the pout? The blushy pout. It all. Haha, sorry, Shi-chan, is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question, Hichan. My first thought is that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I am being too negative? Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school events like the festival coming up in a few days. Why do schools always have a festival of some sort? Because it always preludes destruction at some point. Like, with any festival, there's always bound to be something negative that happens during it, before it, or after it. I think that's how time works. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So, you actually transferred in at a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. I don't know, Hichan. For truth it is, it's a local event, and I'm not from this area, so... She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glass at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Not in that way. Oh. Who cares? Stop it. Stop saying who cares. There are people who care. Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizune's words out at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I can't see heads turning to look in our direction. Not so loud. Human beings evolve each generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Now, it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Fine noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quietens down. Come on, Misha. Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though brushing it off without care. I'm pretty sure she's just used to her behaviour by now. We are in the middle of class and we should start working. That's right, Shi-chan. What? That's right. Hi-chan, are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchange between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word. Anyways, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizune look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl. Why doesn't he say anything? Hichan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Most likely. Or was Misha just looking at me, after the girl had left? No, nothing. I swear, nothing. Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. That sounds like a great idea, and Shizune is in agreement, it looks like. Yay! Okay, Hichan, perfect. Okay, perfect is a word. The rest of the class passes uneventfully. What do you mean? We're in a class full of lovely, talented individuals. How dare you say uneventfully? The girl with the long hair never came back. Something must have cropped up. Before I have the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all our work in time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. You look angry. Yes, it is, Hichan. Impossible? Really? Really? I noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha's always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and mine. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune? I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really, Shizune can't hear me. But it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing. It will take some time to get used to. All in good time, friend. It's not a contest because contests are competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Really now, I like to see that there is something along the lines of a contest without a prize at the end of it. It's called bragging rights, for goodness sakes. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring glare. Are you sure, Hichan? Very sure. Hello. You're on, Hichan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Exactly. It's not just a physical prize, or a physical prize to begin with. It's a bragging rights sort of thing, but also a personal achievement. Shizune pushes her glasses up to the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. And there goes the bell. I'd argue more, but the bell rings, and she quickly gets up and packs up her bag, looking at me expectantly. I'd almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Damn. Hello, where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? Well, yeah, well, that's where you get the food, but doesn't mean to say that you have to be at the cafeteria. That's so plain. Okay, let's go. Plain? Well, I guess. At my old school, I liked to eat outside near the back of a building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there is a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pulls me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favour eating in classroom or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finished eating, Misha picked up where we left off earlier. So, Hichan, you want to know about clubs and stuff, right? Right? Right. Shichan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Exchange little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she is about to deliver a speech. Now, I think there are two main reasons why you would use sign language. Number one, you're mute, and number two, you're deaf. Like, I think those are the two most likely scenarios, or most certain scenarios. Hey Chan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I just usually read a lot. There is a book club, right, Shichan? Right? But it seems like they have all the members they could possibly have right now. Sorry, Hichan. It's a really popular club. How dare you say that? There's not really as a club that's too popular to join. And Shizune? Ah, okay, but more to the point. Hichan, does this mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Damn it. Good, great. That's great here, Chan. Really great. But you're saying this sarcastically. Why is it so great? No reason. Well, here, Chan, other than clubs and the upcoming festival, there's one other thing. Student Council! I see. I didn't know the school had a student council. Of course. What school wouldn't have a student council? There was a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this, because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it. And Misha is laughing. Of course she'll be laughing. She finds most scenarios hilarious to have that big, open grin. Shizune quickly takes control of the discussion, in the matter of speaking. After all, still Misha has to voice whatever she's saying. Right. Hey Chan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Do we get a choice in this? Why? Well, for one, we could hang out every day, Hichan. Shichan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shichan is the president. Huh? I'm starting to get the suspicion that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about this with. Okay, go on ahead. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glass and signs something to Misha. Of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining the student council and therefore have an incentive to try and get you to what? So you're admitting that... no, we made nothing. I mean, of course it would be nice if you joined and we'd appreciate it. But even without all of that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one's school. It does. Yep, it's true, Hichan. Besides, don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hichan? Would you stop implying that you two are the only other students here? I can't tell if she is genuine or if this is just really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest. Or they are already pretty cute to begin with. Ah, well... So it's that I didn't even say yes or no. I'm still thinking about it. Misha is what you'd call a person that jumps the gun. What? No. Aw, see, Shichan, of course it wouldn't go so easily. Shizune kind of, I think, knows the predicament we're in. Yep, that's right, though it would be boring if we went that smoothly. Oh well, Shichan knows we can't... no, we owe you nothing. You were betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. Okay, that's fourth wall breaking here. you are in a game. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint returns to her eyes. Okay. That's interesting, Hichan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about... No. Don't compare people by their financial worth. That is extremely unfair. If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Oh, why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive, and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep. Yeah, that isn't my goal. But what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll be at a clear disadvantage, so I will have to decline. Yeah, Chan, I'm very offended. Are you saying you don't trust us and that we would pour something so disingenuous? That makes me sad. Sorry? It's hard to tell when Shizune's influence ends and Mishia's thoughts begin. Oh dear. In order to atone for hurting her own girl's feelings, you should definitely... Another tactic in itself. No! How about a game of proper football? Instead of rich man, poor man. Paper football. I thought I said proper football. Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle, and then you try to shoot it past goalposts that the other player makes with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people here, Chan. I thought that would be more like ice hockey. Or, no wait, the table version of ice hockey. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children, Shit-chan. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. Thanks, Misha. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good about it. That's it. Yeah, that's true. How did you know, Hichan? Because you suggested it. Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me into the student council, but I'm a little curious about what student council does here. I've never been on one before, or even known anybody who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hichan, how about Risk? The game of world wouldn't that just take too long to do? I don't know what that is. It's really fun, Hichan. You fight for control of a world of armies and anything. It's kind of like Civilization. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. Oh, really? Shichan? We can play just for fun. Hichan? Shichan hasn't played in a long time, so if we want to, there are no strings attached. Well, okay. Okay. Perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hichan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. Misha, for goodness sakes, I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge I don't mean anything concrete, just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends and we go back to class. So yeah, there's we go again. During afternoon class, the blonde-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice. I wonder if she's like that girl from Another who everyone just ignores. Or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. That's real bad. I feel a little offended. What do you mean? I was about to say you're sandwiched between two guards, but anyways, I've been considering it nonetheless. I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past, but they're on their guard. What's with the escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. What's wrong here, Chan? That's right. We're just going to play a game of Risk, remember? Yeah, there's a risk in all this, isn't there? I don't know, Misha. This all seems a little sinister to me. You don't say. I start thinking that when we sit down and to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. Yeah, it's not completely out of the window. And we scoop to our right. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What? That's it? That you guys, this make you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. Not everyone would say that. That's not true, Hichan. Shichan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capacity to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. That's called adrenaline kicking in. Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging. Misha signs something amusedly to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Are you sure about that one? Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerfully. I thought it was ignorance. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it is quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center, surrounded by chairs, and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps? Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old-school records and documents. Not much else, in fact. Nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here, or something. But the most notable thing is that this room doesn't have is other people. Now that's where the real magic happens, is when people are within the room. Are we early? No. What do you mean no? Does it mean nobody else is coming today? Or the fact there's nobody else in the student council? This is Doki Doki Literature Club again. We're getting lured in by false promises, such as food. Oh dear, yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. Yeah, Chan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and don't throw stuff, just put it on the table. Actually, this is kind of interesting. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I'm starting to feel more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Come on. You can do... Oh, halfway into the game while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Yeah, Chan. Shie-chan wants you to know that you are taking too long to make a move. Shie-chan also says that she will let you keep Australia if you agree to join. It's a game. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Well, that's what it was at the beginning. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. Shie-chan admits your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. Oh, for goodness sakes. Anything and any promises. As long as you join the student council, that is. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take that as a compliment. Yeah, competitiveness is good as long as it's friendly. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed. I think you mean pronounced. So she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temples as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Magnanimous. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated signing. Wait. Please slow down, Shie-chan. Hie-chan? Shie-chan says you're going to lose. Why? Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Ah, okay. Oh gosh, now the cat face has been spawned. What the hell is this? Oh dear, that's literally like the colon M3 emoji. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. I will. She has a point. Attack aggressively. It's a trap. It's smart to play defensively. Here. Are you sure that that's going to be the wise decision in all this? And yes, I am saving. Because it's smart to save when a choice like this opens up. If you know about me and my channel, I am a fiend for saving. Especially when a multiple choice scenario comes up. It's a trap. It's smart to play defensively here. It's like that she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have a pretty good defense setup, and I'm not going to wreck it doing something reckless. Wreck it, Ralph. A few turns later, I lose the game anyway. Well, for goodness sakes. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively bump her fist in the air in celebration. Hit-chan, you lose when you allow me to take North America. I mean Shit-chan, not me. Yes, but you're speaking on behalf of Shizune. Getting control of North America is ambitious because it provides a 5-army bonus, but you can attack it from 3 fronts, so you must defend them all. 3 fronts? Every country has 4 fronts, for goodness sakes. North, South, West and East. I thought you had more guts. How disappointed. You think I don't have any guts? You think I don't have any guts? We're gonna do this! She's not really mocking me or trying to trick me! I have nothing else to lose, though, so I might as well try something different. Maybe if I spread out my forces and try to control more territories, I can recoup the advantage. Shizune seems to focus on conquering whole nations, so maybe I could sacrifice my hold on continents to get more small countries. It's worth a shot. A few turns later, I end up losing the game anyway. And she does the same, so no matter what, we always lose. And I win a win, yay! There's no need to translate that, it was pretty clear. Well, don't look so sad, Hit-chan. You were really giving it your best, that's what I thought. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough, though. Thanks, I don't need to know that, though. If anyone knows that, it's me. You did very well for someone who's just learned how to play today. And Hit-chan, you attacked Iceland and North America at the same time. That's a very daring move. Shit-chan is impressed. The mark of great people is that they are daring, and that they can follow through. You're already halfway there. Isn't that great, Hit-chan? This isn't enough. Just potential isn't enough. There's no point to potential if you don't take the first step. And there's no point to that if you don't keep going. I want to see more. You're right, Shit-chan. But that's so demanding. What is she asking? What is she... And she leans forward, suddenly looking a lot less playful and more like the serious person I expected her to be from the start. Hit-chan, would you like to... This is all that this was, really. She really doesn't waste any time. Does she? But... It's only my second day of school, so I'm hesitant about committing to something so early. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet. But spending time with Shizune and Misha doesn't seem like something I would hate. I still need more time to think about it before I decide for sure. Maybe I'll get back to you on it. And let's say uncertain face. Okay, Hit-chan. But I hope you're not just saying that so we feel bad, so we don't feel bad. Oh, really? Really? Hit-chan, if you're going to say that, you're saying that it's definitely the truth, and there can't be any mistaking it. I know, I guess I should have my revenge for losing, but at the very least. Shizune smiles at that in a mischievous way that feels like twisting a knife in the wound of my loss. Yeah, I think so. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realise I spent far longer playing Risk than I expected to do so. And then, sorry, I think I have to go. I want to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shio-chan. Well, so we think the library is open. It's on the 2nd floor. Can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No, thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Ah, one flight of stairs up and I run into problems. Yeah, isn't that just great? You said you don't need any directions, but yet here we are. The 2nd floor's hallway is a carbon copy of the 3rd floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easy to determine as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but there is a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them? Or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bound the ladder and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, just barely ajar, so I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite there, it's good enough. At the very least, that means that someone is inside and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though is much easier to open than I anticipated. Lean over and poking the head ever further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible. The meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. Well then, it seems we have ourselves a visitor here. Isn't that just fantastic? This is not as I was expecting. I mindlessly left the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of a solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. This situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. She could be blind. Aha! Wavy-haired girl. Hello there, may I help you? Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi. Sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected. Considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. Oh gosh, the barbecue smoke is going away. I slowly step towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That, and the slight cloudiness to her eyes means she must be at least partially blind, like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku. Ah yes, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match, before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lilly Satu. Pleased to meet you. Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. I promise you it's not poisoned. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along the shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty finger to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Because a lot of people have lived with their disabilities for so long that they don't know any other kind of life in a way. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lilly herself seems to have workarounds for problems I've never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizune and some classmates told me that it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it's been stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Muto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. Thanks for that. As she sits down with the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but it seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Yeah, I'm sorry about your offer of tea, but I much prefer coffee. No, that's rather rude, actually. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I don't think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Satu. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. That's nice. Lilly, please, there's no need to be too informal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well, I guess I should try to ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So, which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself with a flux bus. Look at her face, though, she doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure. Sorry. I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I seg into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of a place behind my school that I'd like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunch times. My duties as class representative doesn't leave me enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune's blunt and fiercely driven, Lilly seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Wait till you bring up a hobby that she really loves, and then you'll see the complete flop side being visible. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunch times, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones, though, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing to a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rule as my old one, one where a person needs to join at least one club in order to be mandatory to the school. Gosh, it sounds like missing time. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't. Though it is encouraged. Yeah, that's good on your CVs and stuff. Ah, good. That's a relief. I really didn't. Oh my god, around this girl to let such a thing slip out. But that she seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lilly does the same. Ah, and it's getting evening. As I look over to the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has a distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh? The time's gone quickly. Sorry? Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. She seems to come as a surprise to her. I guess she must have lost track of the time. Sorry, Hisao. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly moved to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She paused and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lilly seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lilly. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, should I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it alright. Well, unless my navigation skills fail me, which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great, thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that had been slipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lilly's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for support, whereas Lilly's is for navigation. Indeed, two different kinds of canes. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to a warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school library, with a distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old world air. But I think an old world air library is just so great, rather than everything just smelling so bland and new. There does seem to be a lot of students here, considering the time. It isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuka, are you here? She says it to the thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lilly can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Oh. Hello? Hey there! The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounds up to extremely rigid attention. Bash your head halfway up then, huh? Hi Lilly, how can I help you? Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual as she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon, what happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing, I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and when I was looking for both of them, you came and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't possibly... It's okay, sorry for making you worry. This is nothing, I've had worse happen to me. Like what, for example? She's quick to reverse Lilly's apology, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lilly doesn't sound to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lilly, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look. She seems to fit a library perfectly. Thanks. Ah, Lilly, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived. Right, they finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure she noticed me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Do you need to check out a book? Or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between modes is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hisao. A new student. Hisao, this is Yuko. The school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao. Right. Hisao. Pleased to meet you too, Hisao. You said my name 3 times within a sentence there. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget. Yuka often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Aha! Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lilly's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Please, Lilly, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How's it any responsibility at all? I don't get. But her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But... so there are a lot of books in Braille here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work at least partially as Yuka seems to. Not exactly relaxed, but at least looks slightly less tense. Oh dear. Well, I think about 1/3 or 1/4 of Yamaka's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that be here, or the deaf students here. If there's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. Why? A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. She's what you call straightforward, Lilly is. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb. Taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice here. Exactly. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is. A library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lilly and snuck with us in here. Unless it was here to begin with. Maybe it was just inside all of us all along, the calm, lovely atmosphere. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks, set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd students sitting at a desk, either reading or stealthily sleeping. The back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of the several beanbags. Ah, this one. This enigma. It's the dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious blonde-haired girl, but she is still... Wait, she's looking at a book, isn't she? I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone. She's a classmate after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. Oh, the girl starts, looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see a part of her face, at least a third, if not a half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scar, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. It's not great to stare at something like that. It's rather off-putting. For a second I am shocked and divert my eyes to the books in her hands before I realise that looking away probably only makes it worse. Do you know what, folks? We're going to be coming back to this in the next time. Which of these decisions should we take if, let's per se, we would want to have a potential route with this individual, but at the same time, keep it a mystery? You know, put it as like a little clue. Something along those lines, anyways. But I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. Like, there's not many games out there which kind of has a huge amount of difficulties in the characters' own lives being within the game, like physical difficulties, mental difficulties, learning difficulties, any kind of difficulties here and there. All difficulties at the end of the day, and it makes me kind of wish I'd gone to a school like this myself with my own learning difficulties and social difficulties and stuff like that. Like, I think schools like this are thoroughly underappreciated if there are schools like this within the world, because they provide people who would normally think that they would have no chance to adapt to a real life scenario a chance, and I'm really happy for that. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you all in the next time of Katawa Shoujo. Thank you very much for watching and take care of yourselves.